Gotta say, this week Destiny has really been like the giving tree in terms of helping me come up with ideas for things to talk about, because I think this is the maybe second and a half time that something's kind of spawned out of either a situation in Destiny or a conversation with Andrew in Destiny. Either way, it has been an interesting week for a game that is, as I said in the last one, seemingly pointless. Well, I mean, at least in terms of if you're trying to do anything other than get achievements and like platinum. There's not really much point because nothing you have is going to carry over except for your character. But I digress. This is something that I'm pretty sure anybody who has ever played a video game and gotten into that game has done. But something I want to bring up nonetheless, just because I find it's such a weird, funny thing that happens really without you realizing it. And I'll get right into it. Have you ever been playing a game and all of a sudden you find yourself talking to it? And I don't mean like you're pretending you're actually there, like you're treating these people like, oh, hey there, Joe, what's that? Didn't get eaten by a deathclaw today? Well, we'll see how the day goes. It's only noon. Have fun. Not like that. I mean, if you're doing a Let's Play, you might be doing that kind of thing. But you know what I mean? You're not treating it like it's real. But if an NPC you're walking by just says something to you, just like, nice day, isn't it? And you've just been like getting your butt kicked trying to do one quest. You keep dying and having to restart. And then you walk by this one guy and he's like, hello there, traveler. Nice day, isn't it? And you're just off the cuff reaction. Just, yeah, fuck off. Like you're pissed. And you just say that out loud. You ever find that happens? I find that happens more often than not. And I think that part of it is because, like, you know, I do the Let's Play videos, so that's something that comes very naturally. Not that it's like I can't turn it off when I'm just playing a game for myself and not for the channel. But, I mean, it's just something that is almost automatic. And it really came to the forefront of my mind when Andrew and I were doing a Nightfall strike in Destiny, which this week's is bullshit, by the way, but that's another story. I don't even know. Maybe I will tell a story about that one at some point. Anyway, the one prior, we were just going through it together continuously because we had found a way to clear it in, let's see, I think at Nightfall you've got like 29 minutes to do the whole thing. There's a time limit to get a reward within. And we had gotten it down to a point where I think we cleared it with 18 minutes to spare. So we were clearing it in about 11 or 10. We'd gotten it down to a science. It was pretty damn awesome. But we found ourselves just as it starts each mission, you know, there's a little preamble of one of the Vanguard going like, hey, Guardian, something bad's going on there. Not sure what. Better look into it. Bye. And away you go. And then they'll be chirping at you throughout the mission too, like, ooh, that looks bad. Better do something about it. Hey, that doesn't look great. Good luck. Like, pretty freaking useless information. But, you know, it's fluff. It's flavor. It's herbs and spices and salad dressing on top of the Caesar crouton medley that is your gaming experience. But either way, it got to a point where I think it's Zavala who was narrating the previous strike. And he's just going on and we're just going, you know what, Zavala, just eat a bag of dicks, man. We don't need to hear your crap. We know what we have to do. We've done this before. Why don't you just sit back, have a coffee, go backstage, shut up, and enjoy the show? We know what we're doing here, buddy. Like, just go on. Bugger off. And then it just got to a point where we started getting really salty about it because we had to wait during the load times and listen to him talk. And at first it was just like, blah, blah, blah. I'm Zavala, herpy derpy derp. And then eventually evolved to a point where we're just like, Zavala, would you care for a silver platter dick on a sandwich? Well, what do they call that in France, Andrew? And he just, like, immediately, and this is where playing co-op is awesome, especially if you got this kind of synergy with a friend, they'll bounce off of what you say. And without missing a cue, he dives right into a Pulp Fiction reference and says, I believe in France they call it a le dick with cheese. And it was just this moment that wouldn't have happened if we weren't continually grinding and farming out this one Nightfall strike. That would never have been said. And I'm not saying that in the history of mankind, the world needed that. But I did, because that made me laugh. Like, you know, when without trying, something in a conversation just comes out organically. Usually between friends, because you've got an understanding of how each other thinks. but you just talk and you're going back and forth, and all of a sudden one of you comes out with something that is so good in the moment, you get a genuine, hearty laugh. Like there's times where you'll see something and go, ha, or you'll be like, ah, that's kind of funny, or it makes you smile. But then you'll have ones where like every single fiber of your being from your head to your toe just explodes with laughter. You are just, it's your pure comedy for like 2 seconds, but it's 2 seconds in comedy heaven. That's what that was. It was so awesome, and it made a monotonous task. I mean, we were doing it by choice, but a monotonous task of farming out a strike into an experience that was so goddamn funny. I'm so glad we did it, because I'm sure you've felt the same way at times where you've been playing a game, you're doing the same thing over again, whether you're with friends or not. Using friends as an example, you're playing a co-op that you have done so many times. There's really not much point in doing it. The only reason you're really doing it is because it's an excuse to do something with a friend and share the experience together and enjoy the time you're spending with each other and have a great, great time in that game. Achieving or overcoming a goal or a task together. And then this kind of stuff happens, and it's all worthwhile. Because what I was getting at, there are moments where you'll play that kind of thing. You'll play a game, and you'll just go like, I am just burning time, aren't I? I am literally just bleeding daylight. There is no point in me doing this. It's moments like that that make me go, no. Sometimes it will feel that way. But if you are playing with a friend, even if they're just doing share play and they're watching you, whatever the Xbox equivalent is, or you're streaming and they're watching you through Steam or on Twitch or anything, if you're sharing that experience with somebody, it's awesome. Because something like that will happen. You are just as much as you're grinding in the game. I'm coming up with this as I'm going along. The words are just spilling into my mind here. As much as you are grinding in whatever game you are playing, you are grinding through the conversation to level up and get that moment. There'll be this long just conversation of nothing. And then all of a sudden, boom! You get la dick with cheese. and it's all worthwhile. I guess in a way it's kind of like if you've ever been at a family dinner and you've got everybody who kind of like, the dads are off with the dads and the moms are off with the moms. And as a kid, you're kind of like, I'm so excited. One day I'll be up there talking with them. And then you grow up and you try to join in with the conversation. And I'm just using this as an example. You go to hang out with the men and they're all talking about how they got their oil change in the car. And at least with me, I hear that, I'm like, for fuck's sakes, is this the most interesting thing we can talk about? But, I mean, once you get past that sort of like, oh, why aren't you talking about something you actually enjoy? You realize it's a very simple way of starting a conversation with a thing that we can all relate to and have to do and can go like, oh, yeah, oil change. Mm-hmm. And it's like you are laying the foundation for what hopefully will be a worthwhile interaction, which starts with something as goddamn boring as an oil change and then ends with an interesting philosophical discussion, perhaps about life, or sometimes you just end up with la dick with cheese. And hopefully you guys have had similar experiences. And if not, man, you got to get some friends together and like do a couch multiplayer or play a cooperative game and just start smacking that social ping pong ball back and forth, because you will find gold eventually. And I certainly hope you do. Until next time, hope you enjoyed this. My name's Rye. You guys take care of yourselves.